specifically got stopped not to bring a video that we wouldn't want. So anyway, Scott Parker has been at the Auburn office of the California Highway Patrol. He's a captain. Been at the Highway Patrol for about 22 years. His last assignment was down in the Gilroy, Hollister area. And he even, we had some, the Highway Patrol Aviation Unit here some time ago, and he actually participated as one of the flight officers, although he's not a pilot, but anyway, please give a warm welcome to Scott Parker.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me without this thing?
No.
Come on. We're going to use this. Okay. So, thank you very much for having me today. Mike asked me to come in here and talk about a couple of different things. One being our maximum enforcement period. Anybody heard that term? Somewhere near holidays, you hear, watch out, CHP is going to be on a maximum enforcement period. So I'm going to discuss that just a little bit. I'm also going to discuss our fatal collision picture, which the maximum enforcement period kind of moves right into that. That was the extent of what I was going to discuss today, but upon entering the building, a gentleman that heard me speak on something called RIPA, Assembly Bill 953, they're just going to put you all to sleep, trust me. So I'll work a little bit of that in there as well. So maximum enforcement periods, we generally only do these around holidays. So the big major holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, things like that. One of the things that I try to do as a commander is anticipate when the large traffic events are going to happen. When's the large traffic event around Thanksgiving?
Sunday.
Okay, Sunday, yes, everybody's coming home. When's probably the bigger one? Wednesday. Do I really need somebody to tell me you should have a maximum enforcement period? Maybe you have to put more guys out? Probably not. However, our department does mandate that we put 80% of our man strength out during those periods of time. So, yes, we absolutely want to get out there. Not only to be available if people break down or have collisions or something like that, but if you drive our roads today, what do we generally see now? Poor driving behavior, racetrack, those are some things that come to mind. So the more people that we put out, showing the door, generally that changes people's driving habits while we're out there like that. So those are only for holidays. What I want to move into, though, is talk about is my fatal collision picture and what we do to try and mitigate some of that. So for 2019, we had 14 fatal collisions across Placer County. Now, my area covers on Highway 80 from Riverside way out to the west, Riverside.
Yeah.
Okay. All the way to Colfax. We also cover 65 up to Wheatland. We cover 49 up to the county line, and anywhere in between all of that that's not an incorporated city. So Rockland, Roseville, we have every county road in between there as well. So it's a huge area, and what we try to do is when we look at the fatality picture, so I have my list right here. It's got the location of every single one of them and the date. Why might that be important? Location. Why would location be important?
The safety.
Oh, precisely. If I'm having a collision at the same intersection over and over, probably would be a good idea to look at that. Not just for me, but maybe I need to get County Roads or Caltrans out there to help out a little bit too. Maybe it's signage or they can't see. Bushes blocking an intersection or something. So that's something that we look at. 14 is actually right in the ballpark of what we have in any given year. That's probably dead on with my 3-year history. One of the things that has happened here lately is Highway 49 has been yielding more fatalities than normal. So instead of needing a maximum enforcement period, what we'll do is we use grant money, federal highway transportation system. We'll put extra officers out there patrolling Highway 49. With my scheduling, I have about 27 officers total that work the road to provide 24-hour coverage for that area I just described. So we get on an afternoon shift, which starts at 1:30. We're pretty happy to have five guys out there working, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. We do have days where we have a whole lot more than that, and those are the days that I'm able to push those extra bodies out there onto Highway 49. So those are some of the ways that we try to combat the fatal collisions. Generally, you have to get a patrol car out there to change people's behavior. One of the other things that I use is senior volunteers. And we have about 8 senior volunteers at the office. And they run a bunch of different errands for us, but they also take patrol cars out. And we'll send them to problem areas, especially where we're having traffic complaints or something like that. I like to put them through the areas where I'm also having a high number of fatal collisions. Again, when you show the door, that's what changes people's behavior. So that's kind of a little bit about maximum enforcement and my fatality picture. Let me move on to, I'll take questions on any of that here at the end. Let me move on to the request, and that was to talk about a bill that got passed a little over a year ago, and it went into effect on July 1 of last year. So it's Assembly Bill 953, or RIPA, and that's the Racial Identity and Profiling Act. In essence, what that bill, when it first started, they had a big working group. That working group came up with about 50 items that they wanted us to collect for every single public contact. Let me say that again. 50 items that they wanted us to collect for every single public contact. Probably not the best idea. I mean, we already spend a lot of time out on patrol and taking collisions and with arrests and things like that. And in addition to that, after this contact, not only do we have to write the report, but now you want 50 items answered. Through this coalition or this group, they whittled that down to 19. So in the law, there are 19 things that we have to collect. Now, based on the name of that Racial Identity and Profiling Act, what do you think this is designed to do?
Racial profiling.
What's that? Precisely. It is out there to make sure that we are not racially profiling any specific group. So, indulge me here for a moment. Let me give you some of the boxes that we have to fill out. Reason for the stop. So, first of all, we have to give it a date. We have to give it a time. Reason for the stop. Not only do we need to give it a vehicle code section, but separately we need to give a description. We have to write a narrative that says something other than what the vehicle code section is. Let me give you an example. Vehicle code section is 22349A, exceeding 65 mile an hour speed limit. So in my box,
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again?
We can't just put speed, because that doesn't tell the reader anything other than what the vehicle code section said. We actually have to write a description in there. Yeah, cannot just put speeding. Here's the part that absolutely gets me about this. You have put this law into effect so that we will not go out and racially profile or target a specific group. As part of this, I have to, without asking this person, because I may not ask, I have to give this person's race from a check-down box. I have to give this person's approximate age. This is the one that gets me. And here's my choices. Let me get my glasses because I would hate to get any of these wrong. I have to identify this person as either, these are my choices, my only choices, male, female, transgender man or boy, transgender woman or girl, gender non-conforming, LGBT. Those are my boxes. So what is that asking us to do? As you can understand, I mean, if in your job, every person that you met, even if you went out to take a collision for them or help them off the side of the freeway, let alone, if you were issuing citations, you had to answer 9 questions and they asked you to guess, you're probably not going to be real happy about that. As of July 1, only the largest agencies in California had to do this. So us, LAPD, LASO, the larger agencies. None of your local agencies around here, with the exception of us, are actually having to do this as of yet. I think I talked to your police chief, Ryan Cannon, and I believe they're still a year out from having to do this. It doesn't exactly make the individual officer want to go out there and have a whole bunch of activity, shall we say. So it's obviously incumbent on us as managers to, we still have a job to do and, make sure we still get them out there and do everything that we're supposed to do, obviously. With that said, I will open it up to questions. Yes, ma'am.
Are they called roundabouts?
They are called roundabouts. Man, we segued hard, didn't we? Every left turn. These Caltrans up here, I can feel it.
I don't even want to touch with a 100-foot pole to poke on. So on roundabouts, one's going to be in Colfax, it is there, and there's one going to be on Highway 49. Do they really help? I mean, I don't know if Americans are real good at dealing with it.
I'm probably the wrong person to ask that. We don't have anything to do with the roundabouts.
Well, you do with tickets or crashes.
Crashes, yes. I would say that we have probably, we don't have a ton of them around here. The ones that we do, Rockland has a couple there on Rockland Road, but that's inside the city.
Colfax has one.
Yeah, Colfax is going to be ours.
It's yours now.
I haven't really heard much about roundabouts as far as collisions go. I would say we're probably not going to do a lot of sighting inside of the roundabouts. I mean, people are confused, and especially if you get more than one lane inside there. Do they slow people down?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's their intention. But yeah, that's Caltrans.
Okay, one more
Sorry.
question.
Oh man.
On 49, wouldn't it help to have a concrete barrier all the way down?
Yeah.
He doesn't work for this country.
My point is, there's so many crashes there. Is there a solution besides having you guys, do you see something that might help with that? Because it seems like 49 is more crossovers than anything.
I will tell you that where some of those collisions have occurred are where we have left turn pockets and where you really can't put a center divider wall there. If you continue north up into that area, Yeah, most certainly, if a center divider wall were to be put in, would it curb collisions? Absolutely. For the people that live up there that have to go up a mile, make a U-turn and come back down and into their driveway, I assume that is not going to be popular. I can tell you right now that there's a working group that's been put together with us, Caltrans, Placer County Transportation Agency, that is looking at options. But yes, we do not, that's the engineers and,
I know that, I just wanted to see if there would be.
so, sir.
You could make a fortune just working the apple cake parade coming down. They need to be out there every day. I mean, it's just hard to go in 89. I mean, get pound. Thanks, Bonnie.
I'm well aware. So let me try and break down. Let's go with afternoon shift. Let's go with today's afternoon shift. There are 5 guys working. So 3 of them are on 80. One's on the west end out by Riverside. One's in the center close to Newcastle, Horseshoe Bar. The other one's out east all the way to Colfax. 3. Now if I get, so then I get 2 more to choose from. I have one on 49 and I have one on 65. There's my 5 guys. So when that collision comes out, well south of here on Forest Hills Road or something like that, he's an hour to get there, 30 to 45 minutes taking the collision, an hour to get back. Yeah, it's a racetrack on 80. I look at the citations. Here's the other fun part about RIPA. On their time cards, we have to look at every single one of those entries. And to make sure that we're putting the right information in there, the right description, because all of that is public information that gets posted on DOJ's website. So if one of us decides that we're having a bad day and we want to put something funny in there, that won't be funny. So, sorry.
You mentioned that, is your full staffing level 27? Are you funded beyond that?
No, my full staffing level is 41 right now. Right now, I have about 34.
So that speaks to recruitment and retention.
It speaks a lot to recruitment, which is very hard. Imagine, so 20 years ago, imagine going out and asking, hey, have you used any hard drugs or marijuana in the last, 20 years ago, that would probably not be as problematic. Imagine trying to do that today. There's literally, I kid you not, there have been people that have been indulging in marijuana in the parking lot prior to coming into Taco Bell's. That's what we're trying to recruit today.
What's the best part of your job?
The best part of my personal job or the highway patrol in general?
Yeah, highway patrol. Those officers that
I would say twofold. One is we have the ability to go all over the state. So if you and your spouse and kids are unhappy in Reading, San Diego is but a piece of paper away. You fill out a transfer and off you go. As part of that, as Jen described, we have air operations in every single division. We have 8 field divisions throughout the state. We have air operations in every single one of them. So you can utilize your paramedic skills or your pilot skills still and go out and perform all kinds of searches and rescues. And we actually land on the freeway, we'll land on county roads, pick up patients and transport them to the hospital. The governor's driver, highway patrol. The governor's protective detail, highway patrol. Capital protection, highway patrol. The judge's protection, highway patrol. There's just so much that you can do. So that to me is huge. The other part, yeah, it's probably one of the reasons why they're grumpy is because you interact with the public all the time. But it's also the best part of our job. Being able to leave a scene where you know that you helped somebody out, that's the reward right there. So, ma'am.
I'm curious, in the 14 fatal accidents, what percentage had a involvement in substance abuse?
Of substance abuse, by that, are you talking alcohol as well?
Yeah, alcohol or,
That may not, that is not going to be reflected on what I have here. And the only reason for that is a lot of these collisions are a solo motorcycle off into the field. Nobody saw it, somebody just called it in, we show up, he or she is dead. We don't get a tox report for months. So the coroner will give us a toxicology report at a later point in time. But when I just print this report, it lists them all along with the officer that handled it, date, location, stuff like that. But it will not give me that toxicology information. But there are probably, of the ones that I know of for sure, there's a fair amount. So, yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering, since your numbers are limited, when I drive down 80 a lot, and when there's, on sweeping days, you've got these big, huge Caltrans sweepers, 2 of them. Then you've got a guy saying sweeper ahead, and then there's always a CHP right there, and why? Why do you need to be there?
Why do we need to be there?
Yeah, I mean, those are big vehicles.
That would be for insurance purposes. Generally, and it's not always, well, that is probably Caltrans, but a lot of the work sites are done by contractors, and their insurance, a lot of times, is based on whether they have us there or don't have us there. And so generally, they'll pay to have us there. Again, it's that door. When you see that door or those lights come on and out he goes and writes somebody a ticket for speeding through the construction zone, it's designed to curb behavior. But generally, it is there for the safety of that crew. Probably it's their insurance premiums are way lower because we're there. So, sir.
Yeah, you started off talking about racial profiling, the questions you had to answer. And you went down the list, and some of that is gender profiling as well. How do you guess, or do you ask them?
No, we are prohibited. I mean, can you imagine how this is going to go? Sir, the reason I stopped you is for your speed. Are you homosexual? That's not going to go. So, no, we're absolutely prohibited. We can't ask male, female. It is all literally, I'm writing notes. Well, let's see, that's a male, 75. You know, I'm going off the information that I have. Yeah, I get some of it on their license. You know, on their license, I can see eye color, hair color, stuff like that. You know, you can see male, female. But seriously, those other boxes, we're prohibited from asking.
I just don't know how you
Yes.
guess.
I have no idea. And I will tell you, those boxes probably don't get checked. Sir, back.
Yeah, I just had a question regarding the fatalities. Does Caltrans have you guys actually create a profile of these kinds of accidents for their understanding they have a problem with it entering the highway itself? So they can actually see, gee, this is, you know, this intersection at A, B, C is, we've had now 5 fatalities this year. And why? Do they track that with you guys at all? Or?
So the short answer is yes.
Okay.
I will tell you that I get notified every time one of these happens. I take these kind of personally because I feel that's one of the ways that we're graded, if you will, is via the mileage death rate. And the more of these, the higher the mileage death rate goes. And well before Caltrans ever comes to me and says, hey, maybe we have a problem here, generally it's the other way. I'm going to them saying, you got to do something. Westbound, when I first got here, May 1 of last year, westbound near Rockland Road, there was a place on the highway that people would hydroplane all the time. Anytime it would rain pretty good, we'd have all kinds of hydroplane accidents. Well, that wasn't Caltrans coming to me, that was me going to them. Hey, before something really bad happens, we have to do something here. And they've now overlaid that, and it's taken care of the problem, so.
Great.
Sir?
You had a recent fatality at Joker Road in 49.
More than one,
Yes,
unfortunately.
I know that, and I tried to get onto 49 turning left from Joker, and it's extremely dangerous. So I don't do that anymore, I take the light just to block it south. But what can you do there? I mean, you put a flashing light on the big intersection up north, and they're talking about a roundabout at Kramer. All sounds kind of confusing.
65, you just lowered the speed.
I've heard all of these, I see all of these on Facebook. Again, we don't get involved in, we're not engineers, and it takes the engineer to put together a plan to change a light, to change a sign, to do anything with our roadways. I think I'm getting the hook here. To do anything with our roadways. So, I mean, there's probably a lot of different things that could be done, but.
Go ahead.
Ma'am?
I just want to say Placer County Transportation Agency works with the CHP, works with Caltrans, and has a 30-year plan. So if you go to their website, you can get all the information on the future of the roads. And the number one thing is funding, which is what we're lacking. But if you see Highway 65 was improved, and that was 42 million. There's a whole another 100 million that's needed to improve Highway 65. So when everyone asks all these questions, just tell them to call Placer County Transportation. They have it dialed.
I think what they're asking though is what's the plan going forward on, say, 49 or something like that.
It is,
And, yeah, I'm not sure that's all.
not the whole thing,
Right.
but the safe block.
Okay. Sir.
So I want to talk to Linda for just a moment and then come back to you with a question. I have a very personal experience with roundabouts, Linda.
Oh.
In Washington DC, there is a roundabout at DuPont Circle that has 6 lanes. My former wife got caught on the inside lane 25 years ago. I think she's still there. The new kind of laws of how different restrictions on you, how's that affecting recruitment or relocation?
I don't know that that's necessarily reflecting poorly on recruitment. I think what it is doing is reflecting on retention. And that's something, in 2 weeks we have a meeting and we were asked to come up with topics. And I said, I posed the question, do we have a retention problem? And I mean, in my opinion, we do, otherwise I wouldn't ask the question. But yeah, that's a much deeper subject. But yes, I think it is, their jobs are not being made easier by technology, as we can see here today. But their jobs should be being made easier by technology, and it's quite the opposite. Sir?
If you're driving along Highway 49 and you see a car parked in a handicap spot on private property, do you have the right to go in there and ticket that person?
You're saying on private property?
Right.
There's a handicap stall on private property that's all marked?
I have a Chevrolet dealership and there's handicap spots there. We get
Okay.
customers that will pull in and park there for whatever reason, they're not handicapped. Can you go in and ticket those people?
Ooh, good question. Generally on private property, so I'll equate this to, say, a shopping center. And if that shopping center does not have signs saying vehicle code enforced on its entries and exits, by and large, we will not go in there for your general, regular law enforcement. If they're driving reckless or driving under the influence, we may go inside there for those. So if your dealership had signs at the entrance saying, hey, vehicle code's enforced in here, yeah, then we would be able to go in there and take it down.
Is that under your office or is that outside?
So that is out of our division office, and they have what's called mobile road enforcement officers. They're the ones that drive the trucks around. We have one, I'll say kind of assigned to our office. He's housed out of our office, but he's actually assigned to the division office. His supervision's down there. But that's generally strictly commercial, but my officers ride a fair amount of trucks too. So, I think I'm done.
Book to the Boys and Girls Club. We have you sign it, and there's a place to sign it in there. And I want to personally thank you for your service. My daughter-in-law and my 3 grandchildren were in a horrific accident almost over a little bit a year ago. And it was because of you guys that it worked out. I mean, you got there right away, and you helped out, and I want to personally thank you very much. Next week, Bob Richardson will be our speaker, and drive safely.